What's up everyone on the internet? Thank you for making this video part today. I'm so excited to upload this one for you guys because this video we'll be taking a look at an anime that took me by surprise with its incredible storytelling with adventure and mystery, and that would be Astra Lost in Space. So for a while, most of the anime that I've been watching has mainly revolved around fantasy and slice of life, so you could say that I have been craving for a good science fiction anime. And lo and behold, I come across this show that is basically about teenagers going on a cross-country road trip across the galaxy. And once I found out this was a one-done sort of thing with only 12 episodes, I quickly jumped on board this show and started binging through it. So this anime came out in 2019 and is set in the year 2063, where space travel is now a luxury at this point, where if you want to go to space camp, you can literally go to space camp and spend your whole summer vacation on a different planet. And the story pretty much starts us off on a freaky note as you are drifting in space with this ominous music playing in the background, to the point where you're like, wait a minute, what the hell did I get myself into? Because based on the poster, I was expecting something more upbeat. Just from the opening scene alone, the tone is already set as you are about to embark on a journey that is full of mystery. But before we go any further, we have to go back to the beginning so that we can learn how the heck did we end up in space in the first place, where we end up at the spaceport, where we get to see the entire cast and characters that will carry the story throughout the entire show. And I love how even though each character is different in their own sort of way, there's someone that we can relate to, so that when you're watching this with your group of friends, you all can play a game of which character are you in this story. Okay, there are about 10 characters in this entire cast, so I'm going to go through them as quick as possible. We first have Kanata Hoshijima, who is basically the athlete of the group and is also the team leader as well. Next, we have Aries Spring, who is the typical energetic girl of the group. We also have Luca Esposito, who's pretty much the go-getter of the group. Then there's Church LaCroix, who's basically the handsome one of the group. And then we have the bossy girl of the group with Kritari Rafali. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name, but just know that she's the bossy one because she's got mommy issues. We also have Zach Walter, who is our tech-savvy character and is also the group's main pilot. Then there's Kitari's stepsister, Funika, who is the cute little girl that every anime needs. Next is Fun Hao Lu, who is the shy one of the group, and to wrap things up, every group needs a bad boy, and we definitely get one with Olgar Zweig. Okay, that's pretty much all of our main characters, so let's start the story. So like I said, this anime is set in a world where space travel is pretty much like air travel these days, as we have these group of kids go to a different planet for space camp, and while they're having fun, something just appears out of nowhere and our kids are now drifting in space. At this point, you're like, wait, what the hell just happened? 1 second we were on a planet and the next second we're in space. And without giving away spoilers, I will say that later on in the show, we do come back to learn about what that thing was that ultimately sent our characters to space. So while you have the ton of mystery of what is going on in the scene, you also get a sense of urgency, as this now becomes a story of survival and perseverance as you watch these kids come together to try to get back home. And lo and behold, there just so happens to be a functioning ship right next to them while they're drifting in space. Coincidence? I think not. Anyway, once they're on the ship, everyone is still trying to figure out as to what the heck is going on. And this is where our athlete character steps up to the plate and comes up with a plan that'll get our characters back home. Turns out that if they follow this specific space route and hop from planet to planet, they'll not only be able to conserve fuel, but they'll also be able to restock on food. So yeah, maybe this plan might work. And for a while, things go pretty smoothly as each episode takes us to a different planet. But while this is happening, some parts of the ship begin to malfunction, and it's not long until someone finds out that there was a gun that was snuck on board the ship. I didn't think anything about the equipment failing, but once I saw the gun, I was like, holy crap, it's Among Us. Guys, we got a killer on board. So not only do we have to worry about the harsh conditions of space travel, but we also have to worry about one crew member who's out to kill us all. And I love how as the story goes on, we continue to learn more about these characters, because as it turns out, there are some who are holding secrets from the group, which is up to us to try to figure out who really is the killer. So as you progress through the season, the mystery still continues to build up as you start to ask more questions as to what the heck is going on. And to add even more stress, the story decides to take a page from Planet of the Apes as a bombshell truth pretty much flips the story on its head, and you are basically just as confused as the characters. But because the story was building up that suspense over the course of several episodes, once you get all the answers, you are in disbelief. So you could say that this anime is just a roller coaster of emotions. While the overall tone is mysterious and somewhat scary, there are still moments that are uplifting as you watch these kids try to have some fun in this adventure, because when you really think about it, this is a cross-country road trip with your classmates from school. And I love how the story is able to balance out the mystery with a sense of fun. Also, without going into spoilers, I will say, looking at how the story ends, I could not have asked for a better ending. I'm still amazed at how this anime was able to tell a compelling story in just 12 episodes. Because when you look at the show, one could argue that this could have been stretched out to a 24 episode season, with each episode focusing on a different adventure on a different planet. As much as I love the journey that these kids made, extending it would have hurt the story, as the mystery would have been dragged out longer than it needed to be. I also love how by the time you reach the end of the story, any questions you had revolving around the mystery of the plot, all of it gets answered with no loose ends. So overall, I really love this anime as it keeps you in the dark on some of these characters until you go on the journey with them and learn more about them. And if I had anything negative to say about this show, it will probably be the constant bombardment of one shocking twist after another. And you're probably wondering on how could that be a negative thing? Well, if you're someone who can't handle suspense, chances are you're going to be on the edge of your seat from start to finish. Also, because we have such a big cast of characters, there are some with their own agenda, but it is very easy to miss when you get lost in all the commotion that plays out in some of the scenes. But because each character is unique and different in their own way, it is very easy to remember them in the group. I also love how this show takes inspiration from several genres. We not only get a sense of fear and suspense from when we learn there's a killer among the group, which ultimately reminds us of Among Us, but we also get a sense of mystery from when our characters look at space, which honestly, it kind of reminded me of Halo. But anyway, we also get the shocking revelations that almost remind us of what happened in Planet of the Apes. I know that is a very unique combination, but that's how I saw the story without going into spoilers. But anyway, I really loved this show, and I'll go as far as to say that this definitely makes my top 20 anime of all time. So if you're looking for a good science fiction show to binge through, I highly recommend you watch this anime. Well, that's going to do it for this video, guys. That was my overall review on Astra Lost in Space. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button so you can always updates from this channel. I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye-bye.